Truck and trailer, ready to go, coming from Kearney Mesa. There's one trailer already there, but they will need some more assistance. There are, how many llamas? 9 llamas. Okay, we're gonna have you take off at Villa Rancho Parkway, and they also have a truck with trailer. That's an example of how we'll get a call in, dispatching a truck and trailer. It's 2 of our volunteers that finally got to a point where they could get away from their own house, their own jobs, and go out and assist with the rescues. And that's how we use Mission Manager. There's another group that's out there currently working. They're working on the north side of the fire. It's the San Diego Humane Society. And they've got a rescue team that's also using Mission Manager. And it is possible for us to link the two so that we can communicate back and forth. I can sign my member in, and so this brings him up. I can check him in and then check in the person he's driving with. So I just put in part of their name, it shows up, it shows them on scene. And now I'm going to make a new team. They're going to be a mobile team because they're taking a truck and trailer. Give them a name. They're going to be Mobile 3. For them, they're en route. And then once they get up there, they're going to meet up with another team that's already in the field, and we can keep track of where they're at. Here we have the fire. These are all locations that I've added in that we've picked up animals at or have some significance to the fire. Like this is called Coco's Fire, so it's just the perimeter of this fire. Well, we're at the command post, and if I click on this, it takes us to the command post. Well, that's down here. We're a long way from the fire. We're doing everything remotely. This is a good overview because it shows you where the fires for the last 3 days that we've been dealing with. This is the fire we're dealing with now in San Marcos. This was the fire that was on Tuesday that raced all the way through that everybody was worried about. Then I can come over here and say, okay, I want to go back to the Coco's Fire. So I double click on it and it zooms me right into the Coco's Fire. These icons are hotspots that are picked up by satellites. So Mission Manager connects in with that database and downloads that information. It's an option on the layers here. You can just go natural hazards. This is called a modus detection. Now if I turn that off, it all goes away. I can see better. So now I can see, okay, here's an address where we picked up animals. Here's an address that was actually out of our area and Humane Society was picking up animals. We can have, at the end of the event, we can be able to print out a nice report that says where everybody was and what everybody did. Here's when I'll show you an example of the animals that we've collected, like Eden Valley. Here's what team dealt with it and what they did. They assisted the owner load a pig, and they're going to return to help him load 2 more. These from last night, 17 horses. Okay, intersection of Country Club and Kawanaloa Drive in San Marcos. 4 horses were impounded, which means we took charge of them and took them over to Cloverdale Ranch, our receiving. The other horses, the owner had enough trucks and trailers that he could take them to some place of his own choosing. And this happened earlier today, I needed to get some information to one team that was out doing some scouting. And so I could click on their team, and then down here I can do message assignment. And so I can send a message just to those 2 people. And I can send a text message or an email, or it'll call them with this robotic voice reading whatever I've typed in here to them. So I can pick one of those, or I can hit all and it'll do all 3. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the mission now. These other things that we can do, we store a lot of documents on here that are related to the things we do, how to get a commercial class license for driving big vehicles, because our command trailer requires a Class A to drive it someplace because it's so big. You know, all kinds of radio information, you know, manuals, and you know, we can list all of our equipment that we have as part of our repertoire. Trailers, yeah, we can list all the equipment. We've got a helium balloon that we can send up an antenna out in the field, and you know, radios that we use, our different radios. Over here, you can assign it to individuals. We have links where we can go to different sites, you know, U.S. Forest Fire Site, Incident Command sites, weather sites, This one was pretty good. It's really handy. It's called Mountaintop Cameras. When I click on this, it goes and opens up in a new page, and it's all these cameras that are on mountaintops around the county. And so there was a fire that was right over on the other side of this hill, but you can see there's a lot of smoke in the air and so forth. But this is a real handy thing so that we can do multiple things. You know, if we hear about another fire, we can click on that link real quick, go here and look and see if we can spot it. We've got a calendar. You can see I've got every Thursday night we do what's called a radio net, where we get on the ham radio and we practice talking on the radio because some people are shy. And so we make them, you know, we rotate it around. Who's the person who leads the discussion? And, you know, it's 15 or 20 minutes. It's nothing big. But we use this to remind people, you know, that every week, you know, we've got this. And so, and then when we have trainings, we have the training events up here. And so it'll send out a reminder or an RSVP, you know, are you going to be able to come? And I'm also able to take this calendar and load it into my Gmail Google account, and then it downloads onto my phone. And with a smartphone, I can also just log directly into Mission Manager without even having my computer. I can be out in the field and run Mission Manager from a smartphone. It does timekeeping for us. When we go out on an event, at this point, I could go, okay, let's see what Jim's been doing. He's been doing rescues, so it automatically loads it into timekeeping, which is very handy. Right now, we're operating under a state of a declared emergency, declared disaster. With that, it's possible to get reimbursement both from the state, and if it goes into a federal disaster, then from FEMA, for all the time and money and so forth that is spent by the county agencies doing the response to the disaster. With this, we can track all the hours and know exactly what people were doing so that we can, at the end, we can print out and say, here's how many hours all of our personnel had, here's what they were doing, here's when they were assigned, here's when they took breaks and so forth and so on. And so you have great documentation for being able to get reimbursement for all that time and effort. I am constantly becoming more amazed with the things that we'll do, because the more I work with it, the more I learn. There's a support community right down at the bottom. You can click right on here and it'll take you over to support community, all the different types of questions that they have. So it's a great interactive social area that all these different search and rescue teams, disaster response teams can come together and work out the best ways to use not only this program, but also how to deal with other issues that you run into during these types of events.